Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Nidhi Taneja. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 4th of August. Government hopes to boost the Indian economy after passage of GST bill. Interior Ministers of SAARC countries hold meeting to discuss regional issues. And first batch of Indian pilgrims leave for Hajj pilgrimage. And now for all the details. The Goods and Services Tax or the GST bill was passed in the upper house of the Parliament, Rajya Sabha, late on Wednesday. As a result, Indian markets shares ended slightly higher on Thursday as investors welcomed the long-awaited passage of the bill.
Modernizing India's antiquated tax system is seen as a game changer.
Ayes 197.
By some calculations, it could even add up to 2 percentage points to GDP growth each year. The GST or Goods and Services Tax gets rid of a fragmented system with a single comprehensive tax.
GST is a very important economic reforms post-independence, and we call it a second generation economic reforms. I believe with the introduction of this GST, so that financial powers of the state almost goes to a GST council. So that way it is going to be not only a financial reform but a political reform also.
The move is being welcomed by corporate India. Gone will be a system of tax on tax where products saw levies at the national, state and local levels. It's a great news for companies manufacturing products in India, helping reduce costs.
It will convert India into one unified market with one unified tax in the country. It will improve the base of taxation. It will make evasion extremely difficult. And I think the centre and the state governments in future will have to work together in order to make this a great success.
A roadmap for the GST bill is yet to be announced. However, some warn that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi government might find it challenging to meet the April 2017 rollout date given the amount of time that will go in setting up the new tax system.
Moving on to news from Pakistan. The Interior Ministers of SAARC countries met on Thursday in Pakistani capital of Islamabad. The meeting largely focused on development of South Asia and combating terrorism in the region.
The 7th Interior Ministerial Meeting of South Asian Association Regional Cooperation or SAARC took place in Islamabad on Thursday. The member nations of SAARC include Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Maldives, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif also participated in the meeting and called for efforts from the member countries for the benefit of the region.
Despite numerous challenges, SAARC has made commendable contributions in promoting greater regional integration in South Asia. To make SAARC a more effective and viable regional organization, responsive to the aspirations of the people, all of us, the national governments, the SAARC Secretariat and its regional centers and specialized bodies need to make sustained and concerted efforts. South Asia is blessed with tremendous resources, both human and natural. SAARC can and should provide the platform to optimally harness the regional potential for the peace and prosperity of our people.
SAARC promotes the development of economic and regional integration. The focus of the Thursday meeting was on strengthening networking among forces of SAARC member countries and also enhance information sharing among law enforcement agencies.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon has decided not to pay Pakistan $300 million in military reimbursements. The decision came after US Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter did not certify that Pakistan has taken sufficient action against the Haqqani network. The $300 million comes under the Coalition Support Fund, a US Defense Department program to reimburse allies that have incurred costs in supporting counter-terrorist and counter-insurgency operations. Pakistan is the largest recipient. There has been growing resistance in the US Congress to sending money to Pakistan. Many lawmakers have expressed concern about Pakistan's nuclear program, commitment to fighting terrorist organizations, and cooperation in the Afghanistan peace process. Relations between the United States and Pakistan were tested in May by a US drone strike that killed Afghan Taliban chief Mullah Akhtar Mansoor on Pakistani soil. Moving on to news from Afghanistan. The Afghan Taliban has said that it is optimistic about the resumption of stalled peace process with the Afghan government. This change of stance comes after the group rejected joining the peace talks in March, imposing several preconditions.
A former top leader of Afghan Taliban said that the group is optimistic about peace process with the Afghan government and confirmed that representatives of the outfit recently visited China seeking their role in the peace talks. He further added that it is now up to Kabul to decide whether to join the negotiating table or not. China, a member of the four-nation Quadrilateral Coordination Group, which has been pushing for a peace process in Afghanistan, had earlier this month invited political negotiators from Taliban's Qatar office. The U-turn by Taliban comes after it rejected to join the peace process in March and instead launched its spring-summer offensive targeting government installations, security forces and civilians alike. After which, the Afghan government had opted for strict military action against Taliban militants on battlefields.
Moving on to news from Myanmar. Myanmar authorities have launched an investigation into a reported threat to State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi by Islamic State. Officials have arranged for more security for Suu Kyi after her name appeared on a hit list sent by the Islamic State militant group to Malaysian police. Myanmar authorities have said that they are not underestimating the threat. Suu Kyi is among several world leaders, including Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, whose name has been mentioned in the letters. The Islamic State outfit, which controls areas of Iraq and Syria, has already made inroads into South Asia and is now trying to make hold in Southeast Asia. Moving on to news from Nepal. Pushpa Kamal Dahal was sworn in as the Prime Minister of Nepal on Thursday. He became the 39th Prime Minister of Nepal after garnering majority of votes in the parliament.
Newly elected Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, also known as Prachanda, took oath of office and secrecy at a ceremony in capital Kathmandu. The oath-taking was presided by President Bidya Devi Bhandari. Dahal also formed a 6-member cabinet on Thursday. The Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Centre chief was elected as the Prime Minister on Wednesday with the backing of Nepali Congress Party and regional parties of United Madhesi Democratic Front in the parliament. Dahal will be heading a coalition government comprising Nepali Congress, the largest party in the parliament. This is his second stint as the Prime Minister of Nepal, as he led the country from August 2008 to May 2009.
The first batch of 340 Hajj pilgrims was flagged off in a ceremony from the Indira Gandhi International Airport's Hajj terminal in the early hours of morning on Thursday in capital New Delhi. Pilgrims from different parts of the Indian subcontinent, including Eastern Gaya, were given a warm send-off for a safe and conducive journey. Minister of State for External Affairs General V.K. Singh on Thursday received the first batch of Hajj pilgrims coming from India and Medina. Over 100,000 Hajj pilgrims will be facilitated across India through the Hajj Committee. Hajj is a spiritual pilgrimage taken by Muslims from across the world in the holy city of Islam in Saudi Arabia.
हम अल्लाह के घर में जा रहे हैं। अल्लाह के अलावा दुनिया में कोई नहीं है कि जो हमको फ़ायदा पहुंचा दे, नुकसान पहुंचा दे। अल्लाह एक है। पूरी दुनिया का जो भी है, छोटा से बड़ा तक अल्लाह का भेजा हुआ है। अल्लाह उसको हिफाजत कर रहा है।
Students in southern India set a world record with large number of people performing a classical dance for 2 hours at stretch. The aim of the event was to promote the culture of classical dancing among the younger generation.
Bharatnatyam, a classical dance form, is said to have originated in India's southern Tamil Nadu province. Over 60 students of a private school in Coimbatore set a new record by performing Bharatnatyam continuously for 2 hours on 14 different classical songs. The students said their zeal for setting the record helped them break through all the hurdles.
Bharatanatyam and classical dance is our Tamil Nadu's culture, and we have to take it forward, and only youngsters can do it. We didn't even believe that all will get this coordination, and on spot we'll get that song, steps, everything. Really, it was great having that.
Parents, teachers and fellow students cheered on as the performers danced their way to setting a world record.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Government hopes to boost in Indian economy after passage of GST bill. Interior Ministers of SAARC countries hold meeting to discuss regional issues. And first batch of Indian pilgrims leave for Hajj pilgrimage. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.